Hi, I'm Karen Mashers. Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. Today I am really excited about our menu. We have turkey Tetrazzini rigatoni. We are going to make some panna cotta, which is for dessert, some ciabatta bread, and a wonderful salad with homemade Parmesan peppercorn dressing. And to help me with all these feats today is my good friend, the owner and chef at Roberto's restaurant at Ocean Isle Beach, Dave Gundrum. Come on in, Dave.
Hi, Karen. Thank you for having me again today. Hello. I'm pretty excited, too. I mean, this is our theme. Me and Karen were talking. We were picking out something for Thanksgiving, and we decided to focus on leftovers. And then we decided, well, heck, that gives us a lot of leeway in what we can do. And so we're doing a turkey casserole, Tetrazzini. So we don't have a recipe. That's another nice thing about today. We're just going to kind of free-form cook. So for you at home, when you have your leftovers from Thanksgiving, you've got pasta in your cabinet. You can choose whatever pasta you have. We decided today we're going to use a rigatoni. You could use ziti. You could use penne. You could even use spaghetti or fettuccine, just whatever you have. Everyone's standard casserole dish, all right, which you probably cooked your turkey in that, but now you can clean it up and use it for this. So we're going to start off doing the pasta. We got about 7-8 quarts of boiling water, just a 1-pound box of pasta. And get this going. This will only take about 9 minutes. And we want to cook a little al dente because we're going to be putting it in the casserole dish too.
All right, Dave, I'm going to let you take it away.
Oh, all me for here? Okay. Now, so while that's cooking, we got about 9 minutes, 10 minutes, we'll check that. We already have our leftover turkey. Okay, it's shredded. We might chop it a little bit more for moving into the casserole. You could just do your standard carrots, onions, and celery for your mirepoix, your base with the butter. So what we're going to start off for first is we're going to turn on the pan here. I have the right one. Turn it on. Let's start off with a low heat so we can melt the butter and warm up the pan. All right. Now, while we were getting ready, I went ahead and I diced up my celery, which I had just 1 stalk of celery. And I have put that in there. And I've got, you can use any onion in the house. You can even use green onion, leek, whatever you have. I've got about 1.5 cups or a cup of just onion. I'm using red here. Put that in there. Let that get started. I've got a couple cloves of garlic. You can use your already chopped if you want, but I'm using some garlic here. Smash it up a little bit. The whole theme is nice and easy for a cold fall day after Thanksgiving. Because you want to get this done in time to watch your sporting event, your football game, or another cooking show or something in the afternoon. You don't have to work all day on it. So we have that going already. Butter's melting. Spin your pasta's doing good. Now, I've been in the mood for some rigatonis lately, so I'm glad we're using that pasta today. Now, the turkey, it's pretty tore off, and we tore it off of the turkey here and put it in the fridge. I'm going to chop it just a little bit more, in like bite size. You don't have to make cubes or nothing. You can leave it tore, but just get it down about that much. Okay, we'll set this aside. Now, we have frozen peas. This is going to be part of the dish. We have the fresh mushrooms, which I need to cut. And just go ahead and quarter them. If you already had sliced mushrooms, you can even use canned mushrooms if you have them. Okay. Get this a little higher. Pasta's got about another few minutes. Okay. Now the artichokes, we're going to quarter them. This is 2 cans of artichokes. This extra juice. Yeah, you can start to smell the garlic and the onions going already. Now, you don't want to overcook or brown any of the mirepoix or your base, because it's going to be going in the oven to finish. So as soon as that butter gets melted and you get a little bit of translucent on the onions, you're ready to go. All right, so we'll go ahead and put the mushrooms in. Now I like to put my herbs in early, so the butter and the heat and stuff will start to make the dried herbs blossom out. Now here we're just using Italian blend seasoning, or you could use just rosemary and basil. I'm using about a nice tablespoon of it. Alrighty. That's going good. I'm going to go ahead and blend down a little bit, or grate down a little bit of my Parmesan where we're let that cook for a minute. Now you can use a hand grater if you want, but the Cuisinarts make everything so simple. Everybody has to fondle with these things on TV. I've even seen some of the Emerald was messing with his one day, cooking it apart. He has one on his own shopping network. Okay, that's good there. And the pasta's ready to go. Now I'm not going to rinse the pasta off this time. I want to leave the starch on it. Okay, so we'll just let it sit in there and don't rinse your pasta. We don't even want to cool it down. And we want to leave the starch so it'll help bind together the casserole when we bake it. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the peas. And you see I'm starting to get a little bit of brown here in the bottom of the pan, which is great. This flavor's starting to build. We want that. All right. Now we're going to deglaze the pan to get those the brown off the bottom of the pan, and also add some more flavor. And we're going to use some nice cream sherry, and I'm going to pour in probably a whole cup. So get that in there where it just covers the bottom. And that was just about a cup. And now we're going to turn the heat up all the way to high, which is there, which is good. Let's go ahead and add the artichokes. We've got a lot going on already. All right. We'll let that cook down just a little more to get the alcohol out of there. And then we're going to go ahead and add, this is how quick and easy this is. I mean, we were only in this a few minutes here already. Most of the prep time is just cutting up the onions and celery. All right. All right. Now we want to go ahead and add the Parmesan. All of it, which is a lot. Now we're going to have to add our cream, which is right here. Now you can use half and half, which everybody should have left over from the Thanksgiving dinner and stuff. Not, you can use milk, but I'm using a light cream today. Now if you use milk, you have to let it simmer and thicken up quicker. Or not quicker, longer. The cream will thicken up a lot quicker. So you just want to kind of start adding it in. Don't add it all at one time, though. You don't want to bring your temperature down.
Dave, I can't stay out of the kitchen any longer. It smells so good. I think we need a taste, don't you?
Yeah, we got to check to see if we need any seasonings. Go ahead, you first.
Okay, just want a little taste.
How's that broth taste?
Absolutely perfect. The Parmesan is so prevalent, you know you're having something different than what you had for
leftovers. Does need a little salt and pepper, though. I'm going to put a little salt and pepper in it.
I think you can do that. Here's some salt.
I'm probably going to put about, we'll go with the whole tablespoon, because the pasta doesn't have any salt on it yet. And a little more pepper, which this grinder here. Would you please hand me the rest of the blended herb? I'm just going to go ahead and put that in because
all righty.
We've got a lot of, there we go, the rest of that. So that's 2 tablespoons of the blended herb in there. Oh yeah, it's just ready. Yep, about another 1 minute, we'll put the rigatonis in. And while that's doing that, we got to get our mozzarella cheese ready. Now here you can use a shredded mozzarella already bagged, or you can use a fresh mozzarella like this and just slice it.
Don't you love the texture of that?
Oh yeah, it's great with tomatoes and basil.
Absolutely wonderful. One of my favorite salads. And you don't have to be too particular because it's going to be melting in the oven. So we do have the oven set 350.
Right, now you can see how creamy and bubbly this is now. We're going to go ahead and just add all the rigatoni in. Give it a quick stir. Would you hand me the casserole dish, please, Karen?
There we go. And this has been lightly oiled, a little bit of olive oil.
All right. Now, the nice thing about using the tube pasta over a spaghetti or a fettuccine is the cream's going to get inside the tubes and the cheese is going to get inside the tubes and it's going to nestle it. We'll turn the heat off.
Okay, Dave. You're getting ready to put the stuff in our casserole dish.
Yeah, I'm going to ladle in the casserole dish. First, I'm going to cover the bottom with about half of the Tetrazzini. Okay, and you can stir it once you get into the casserole dish a little bit.
Looks fabulous.
Yeah, it looks really good. And after it bakes in the oven, it'll really get better.
We're going to eat good today, friends.
We always eat good, though.
You're right.
All right, so I got about half to 3/4. You will go ahead and take a little bit of your mozzarella that you have and put underneath. Spread it around. It's going to melt, so it'll even out a little bit. All righty. And that's about half of it. And then finish up with the rest of your... Now this will shrink down too, so if it seems kind of full, that's okay. Because when the moisture comes out, it bakes down. It's not going to rise like a souffle. It's going to actually come down.
That's the kind of thing that I think that in a way you could even add a little bit of heat to if you really liked it.
Oh, yeah,
You could put some
red pepper
flakes.
Ooh, should we?
Well, if
Let's
it's
do it.
up to me.
Where are they at? Let's do the red
Let's
pepper
try
flakes. I don't mind. All right, now I'm going to pour the last of it in here.
All right, I've found them. I'm ready to go here. Let's go.
Let's get the rest of this in here. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're going to have to invite a lot of guests because we've got a lot to eat here.
Hey, let me show you. The crew is who eats this after we finish our shows, and they'll put a big dent in that one. All right, how much do you want, Dave?
Just enough, just along the top, because that flavor will sink down in. Okay.
There you go.
Now we'll finish with the rest of our mozzarella. Now it's okay if you don't cover up all the pasta. We're going to put a piece of foil over the top of this when we put it in the oven for the first 20 minutes or so. That helps all the heat penetrate and everything melt. And then we'll take the foil off, and some of the pasta is going to get nice and brown. So that'll be nice. It'll be a little crunchy, but it'll still be moist.
Let me grab you some tin foil.
All righty. There we go.
There you go.
If you open the door for me, please.
I'll be glad to.
Just kind of crunch it down so it's a little bit tight, and we'll give that about 20 minutes or so, and we'll change that out.
While this is cooking, we're going to do a little bit of cleanup work. Dave, I can't wait to taste it. We're going to have a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back to make our panna cotta.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Welcome back. It's time to make our panna cotta, and guess what? I know somebody who hasn't made this yet, so we're going to play in the kitchen together. The first thing that we're going to do is talk about what it is. It's actually cooked cream. Panna is cooked, cotta is cream. So what we're going to do is have a really creamy dessert. Let's turn this one on here. I'm going to put 2½ cups of cream in a heavy saucepan. Okay, and I'm going to keep this for just a second because I'm going to add something special in there in just a sec. Let's get that going. Okay, now, before I put my sugar into my pot, I'm going to take some gelatin. And you can get gelatin in crystallized type form that comes in envelopes, or now they do make it in sheet forms, which they say is easier, but where I'm at, I wasn't able to find them. So we're using ½ cup of milk, and I'm just sprinkling about 1.5 tablespoons of gelatin right in, okay? And I'm not going to do much to it except push it down just a touch. It'll start to bloom on its own. Okay, next we're going to put in ½ cup sugar. And I'm going to get my whisk and just start whisking this a little bit. Okay. We're not going to let this boil too long. Dave, I need some help.
Okay.
Because we're going to make this a really quick dessert. It doesn't take but about 5 minutes, but you have to watch it. You don't have to stir constantly, but you want to make sure that that doesn't boil. We're going to scald it. That's the term. Okay, while that's in, I'm going to split a vanilla bean. And I like the seeds in my panna cotta and my custards. So I'm just going to scrape out the seed.
Now, I'm actually learning today. I've never made that. She was mentioning to me when she said no one's ever made this before. Now, I've made my creme brulees and I've made my other stuff, but I've never made this.
Well, he has 2 beautiful children, Gracie and David.
Oh, yeah.
And they like my desserts, so this is going to be sort of for them too.
Oh,
all
yes.
right. What I'm going to put in here now is eggnog. Eggnog. We're in the season, and I'm going to put a cup of eggnog right over my cream.
And your eggnog has your nutmeg and your cinnamon and what else?
All those traditional flavors that make the holidays the holidays.
Yeah, now there's a liqueur in nutmeg. I can't remember what it is. There's
well,
vanilla.
there's bourbon in some, and some put a dark rum. So I think this has a bourbon flavor. So we're good there. All right. This needs another 2 minutes, but you can see how it's starting to do some wonderful squiggles. That's the gel. While Dave is stirring,
I'm turning it down just a touch, so I just scalded it. I don't want to boil it.
That's great. I'm going to make the sauce. And since we're using leftovers, if you use fresh cranberries during the holiday season, make sure you pick out any that don't look really good. But what I've got is a full bag of fresh cranberries. And I'm reserving about a half of a cup.
You can get the cranberries at just any of the grocery stores. I noticed that. Especially around the holiday season, they'll have lots of bags in the produce section.
Exactly. And I've got 3 beautiful, little tiny clementines. Isn't it wonderful? That smell is the holidays all over.
That's what the holidays, the smells, the nutmeg, the vanilla, all these stuff coming together.
Will you put our gelatin,
all of it?
all of it in and whisk until it's dissolved for me?
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm putting a cup of sugar in my sauce. Easy, 3 ingredients. Well, actually 4, because we're going to put in a cup of water also. Well, half a cup of water. Half a cup of water. And a half a cup of cranberry juice. Pop the top on. And let's give it a couple pulses.
All right.
All right, we want to grind this up just enough to look sort of like a relish. But we've saved some wonderful berries that we're going to put right in with it. So I'm going to take out my blade. And Dave, if you can grab me that pot right over behind you. Right here. There it is.
Oh. I keep turning around, so behind me keeps changing.
This goes right in. And anything that doesn't look like it's ground up good, just pop it out, because you've got plenty.
Let me start to cook it down a little bit?
Yes, please, if you'll turn that on. And I'm going to put the whole berries in also now, because as soon as they start to pop, is when we want to take that off the stove.
Okay.
All right, where's our cream? Over here.
Yep. Is that long enough for you?
Yep, looks great. Okay, we've gotten everything in except our eggnog. So we're going to stir in our eggnog. Now, this is the next step. And don't forget this step, because you want to get any undissolved gelatin off the cream. So just pour in a sieve and use a great big pitcher that has a pour spout, because we've got to pour this into our ramekins. All right, I've got to get some of that out of the way so I can bring our ramekins over here.
Here, I'll get them for you.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, have we done anything to the ramekins? Do you butter them or oil them, or you
Nope,
just
don't
leave them
have
dry?
to do a thing.
Okay.
All right. I also want to show you, you can do it fancy, and you don't have to actually unmold them if you don't want to. You can serve it right in a serving dish. Okay. Now you can see, it's very liquidy right now, and it will not set for between 3 to 4 hours. So I always give it 4 hours, and you can put it in the refrigerator overnight. Just cover it with cling film, okay?
I think the martini glass is the way to go with that. That presentation is going to be awesome.
Oh, it's great. It's great. And when we finish and put everything together, we're going to use a little mint in our presentation. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this over to the side because it has to be cool before it goes in the fridge. But remember, about 4 hours to make things set.
Well, it's time to check on the tetrazzini also.
Yes, it is. I'm going to let you get that out of the oven. Here's some.
Okay, great.
Put it right on this
So it's
board.
been in the oven about a half hour, and we're going to see what we got here at 350. Oh, definitely smell that cheese. That's a good sign. And now we're not going to put the foil back on, but keep the big piece of foil so when you store it later. Oh my goodness. You getting that on the camera? Oop, little noodle falling off.
Fabulous.
All right, now we're going to finish the top here. I have
You need some Parmesan.
Parmesan.
And some parsley.
Some fresh leaf parsley.
And do you need any more?
No, I think we're good with everything else.
Okay.
Let's go ahead. Now we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle a lot of this on because this adds a lot of flavor, but also gives a nice presentation for you here. Look at that.
And now it'll go in the oven uncovered.
Uncovered, because I want to get a little browning. I want to get the moisture out of it, let it set up. And just all this you have left. This almost looks like breadcrumbs going on here. But this is really going to help finish it off.
How long is it going to stay in the oven now, Dave?
Oh, just about 20 minutes. And then, we're pretty much ready to go. So we'll have a whole cooking time of about 45 minutes, which is the whole, the longest part of the whole process. But then we're going to have plenty of tetrazzini. Okay, let me get the oven door.
Here, there you go.
All right. Now, make sure you put it in the center of the oven. You don't want it at the top or at the bottom because when the oven changes with temperature, you might get more heat there. So you want it in the center so you get an even cooking.
All right, this looks pretty good. I'm going to bring it up just a touch more. And if you take a good look at it, you can see the wonderful fruit.
Oh my gosh, that's got a bouquet to it. You smell the cranberries, you smell the oranges. I mean, that's, oh my gosh, that's great.
Now I'm going to put this in a bowl, put it in the fridge to cool also because we want the fruit not to melt the cream.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to clean up. We're going to come back with our salad, our homemade Parmesan peppercorn dressing.
And ciabatta bread yet. I got to make
ciabatta bread,
which I've already started that.
We'll have that, and then we will put it all together so we can sit down and have a wonderful meal.
All right, I'm getting hungry.
Okay.
The Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Charlotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17 or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Welcome back to the Coastal Kitchen. I've got Dave Gundrum, and he's going to show us how to make ciabatta bread. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, well, I started this yesterday because ciabatta bread, which means slipper in Italian, is a sort of like a flatbread, but it's a very light bread. And all I used was water with a teaspoon of yeast and 2 tablespoons of sugar and 2 tablespoons of salt and 4 cups of water and 8 cups of flour. I mixed it together, covered it, and let it sit. That's all I had to do to it. Now, it's not like your traditional bread at all. It's very sticky. If you look at it here, look at that. It's just nothing but bubbles. But it's a no-knead bread, so all we have to do is get a good bit of flour. Be generous with the flour, because that's how you make up for all the stickiness. All right, get that on a cutting board. Get a little bit on your hands, because you're going to need it. And just go in here.
We don't need this anymore, do we?
No, we're good without that. Try to get some of this out of here. All right.
About how many loaves will this recipe make, Dave?
Depending on what size you want. You could actually make rolls if you want, little ciabatta rolls for making sandwiches, or you can make loaves. This recipe here makes it easy for loaves, but I'm only going to make this one right here to get started. So I'm going to take a sharp, serrated knife and cut a little bit out. And you can see how sticky it is, I think, Karen.
Oh, you could make some great sliders with this, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Now, this has got a little bit of a sourdough flavor to it. So then we just get it on the hair of the flour, okay? Now, we're not going to knead it. We're just forming it out, okay? All right, a lot of people say, well, God, that's simple, and it is. Okay.
You need a pan.
That's it. That's a loaf right there, okay? Put it in a pan. Put it in the oven.
All right. And this is going in 425?
425 or 450, depending on what you want.
How long?
20 to 25 minutes or even 30. Depends how brown you like your bread. If you like a crustier bread, you leave it in longer and a little bit of higher heat, okay? It won't hurt it, but you got to keep an eye on it. You know, in about 20 minutes, we'll look at it and make a decision.
Sounds great.
Now
it's time for salad.
Let me rinse my hands off here real quick. All right, today we're going to do a Parmesan peppercorn cream sauce, or dressing, not a sauce. And I'm going to use the hydroponic bib lettuce, which is really nice, a buttery texture to it, very soft and light. But to add some crunch to the salad, we're going to do radicchio, which a lot of people think this is like just for coleslaw and stuff, but my wife loves this radicchio in a salad all the time. It kind of covers your bitter flavor for everything. We're doing some red pepper and some Roma tomato. So we're making that simple. So I'm going to go ahead and make the dressing first. Let's go on to the salad real quick. All right, we're going to go ahead and core the radicchio. Beautiful color on this stuff. I just love the color. So we'll go ahead and cut it in half once, lay each half down so you got a nice cutting area. Get your fingers back and just chop it up. So we'll go ahead and put that in the bowl. Look at all that. And we're doing a lot of radicchio. I mean, it is a cabbage, but it's very light cabbage. This isn't like Napa cabbage, are very light. Now we'll go ahead and add the red peppers that I already julienned. All right. And we got some Roma tomatoes, and we're just going to go ahead and take out the end piece.
Well, you know what I found? I'm a gadget person.
Oh,
I actually found...
Karen, you're a gadget person?
I found a lettuce knife.
Is it that green one? Is it that green one?
It's got a green handle, and it has a serrated blade that is out of plastic.
Tear it down to the core. You don't need that core in there because it's going to be a little too bitter, not tasty. Some lettuces' cores are good, but I found this bib lettuce core is a little bitter. The rest of the lettuce is nice. So.
Right. Well, the only time I would use that lettuce knife is if I was going to serve the salad in the next 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want the brown on the edges.
Because I don't want the edges to get brown.
All righty. Now I'm just going to go ahead and mix this with my hands because I already had them nice and washed. Blend it together.
Let me grab.
Okay, that's done. That's all I want to do with that till we add the dressing. All right, so we'll just set that aside. And, oh my gosh, we got to
salad accoutrements there.
Okay, guys, you know what? It's only, been 10, 12 minutes? Let's look at this bread.
Take a look.
Look how beautiful and how quick it is. We can go ahead and zoom in on the bread. Look at that. It's already rised. It already looks like a loaf.
Ready to go.
Now all we got to let it do is rise and finish cooking in the center. The turkey tetrazzini, we need to take a look at that. That's probably about ready to look at.
We're going to take a short break, have a word from our sponsors.
Oh, then
we're going to have this out of the oven.
Okay.
And we'll get ready to plate our panna cotta, have the bread out, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
All right.
Most people couldn't fit 200 local farms on their table. Well, that's where we come in. For the very best of everything local, Lowe's Foods.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, Karen.
I'll tell you what, we have had fun today in the kitchen.
It's gone by
I want
fast.
you to see, this is fabulous. The turkey tetrazzini rigatoni right here, absolutely an award winner.
Ooh.
And it's got a beautiful little crust on it. Dave, I think you and I have to take a little bite of this. This looks wonderful. We've got our super salad here with Parmesan peppercorn dressing, fresh made, absolutely wonderful. The ciabatta bread, and of course, you can see we have our panna cotta.
I almost want to start with dessert first this time, but I got to try this.
Well, we got to try this first.
All right, let's see what we got.
Don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, The Coastal Kitchen. Just search for us and you can find recipes. You can enjoy all these wonderful foods like we are, using leftovers from Thanksgiving with a few little additives. Dave, thanks again.
Thank you, Karen.
And I've got to have my bite.
Oh, I have a second plate.